My name is Alexa Maley. I am the New York State 4-H STEM specialist, and I'm really excited to welcome you all to Career Explorations coming up at the end of June. And I'd also like to introduce Chris, who is joining us.
I am an educator in Washington County, and I am the chaperone coordinator for this CareerX event.
We're very happy to help you get excited and prepared to come to campus. So we're going to go through a couple of things with you today. I'm going to talk about some things to help you prep both before campus and while you're here, and Chris is going to help you out with details for during the event. First, we want to start out a little bit by telling you about how this event has come to be. The main goal of Career Explorations is to give youth like you the opportunity to connect to campus, to learn about Cornell, and to explore some possible career ideas. We have a great group of teens and adults from all across the state who've come together to make this event a reality for you this year. So we're really glad to have you join us. Our theme this year is to get connected and stay connected, and this is one of our first ways that we're trying to build that connection for you. About how you can keep building those connections. One tool that I want to point out for you to have some more details for how to prepare and participate in Career Explorations is our handbook. So on the New York State 4-H website, under the Youth and Chaperone section of Career Explorations, there is a PDF file that has a detailed handbook, including things like your schedule and packing suggestions and where events are going to happen on campus and everybody's favorite, the rules, so that we can have a great, safe, impactful event. New this year, we have a Google map that we're developing too. So anybody who uses a mobile device or the internet to find out where things are, or if you're somebody like me who gets lost in a paper bag, you can check out the Google map and see where activities are happening on campus. Like I mentioned, the handbook has some really helpful packing suggestions, so please read through that. For those of you who are in focus programs, sometimes our program facilitators have suggested specific things, like if you're working in the lab, you want to have closed-toed shoes. If you're going to be playing in the stream, you want to bring extra clothes to change into, that kind of thing. So definitely pay attention to it. Also remember that you're on a pedestrian campus. You're going to be doing a lot of walking up and down hills for a good chunk of the day. So bring comfortable walking shoes and bring clothes that are good for any kind of weather. So it might rain, so bring an umbrella. It might get warm. You might want to bring layers, that kind of thing. So our main goal at Career Explorations is to have a safe and effective learning experience for everybody. So that means that we all have to work together in a respectful way. And so the code of conduct that everybody signed is our way to help build that common ground. So we all know what respectful looks like, and we have a general idea of the different walks of life that everybody comes to from campus. So conduct closely and carefully. it does apply to both youth and adults. It applies across all of our New York State 4-H events. We want to be able to create this collaborative space for people, whether they're from tall skyscrapers or tall mountains, all across. So this is a quick overview of what's in your code of conduct, and we're hoping that after this presentation, you'll have the chance to talk about it a little bit more deeply with your county chaperones and delegations, so you can work through what this looks like for you. That aren't exactly according to plan, just so you know how we handle those things. If there are issues that you know about ahead of time, like maybe it's a challenge getting around or a situation that needs certain special care, and we're here to work with you through that. So please contact me. My email will be at the end of this presentation, and we'll try to work with you. During the event, somebody twists an ankle, gets stung by a bee, that kind of thing. We do have a nurse on campus, so you your chaperones will contact the nurse. If it's something that's very dire, more than I scraped my knee, please call 911. Safety is our first priority. After safety is ensured and everybody is supervised and calm again, make sure that you notify me, the event coordinator, that something's going on. And lead chaperones and lead educators need to know too. So chaperones who are in a situation, first make sure that everybody's safe, then contact me and your lead educator. Something else that happens, maybe a code of conduct violation, any of those other things, chaperones should confer with their lead educator from their state, from their delegation, and then also report that incident to me, please. I'll make everybody else who needs to know knows. We also want to make sure that our event is doing well. If there's things that we can improve, just like in 4-H, we're always trying to learn how to do better. So we do have an event evaluation that everybody's going to be doing. We're going to spend a lot of time thinking about the conference planning team and how that process worked. This year, participants are not going to have to fill out a paper survey on Thursday after your events are done, but we are going to ask you to fill out an online survey afterwards. So you'll get a chance to have those great conversations in the car together with your delegation, and then share some of those things with us via this online form. We also will have guiding questions for you for your county reflection meetings, just like we've had in the past, and there will be an online space for you to share feedback from those discussions too, if you choose to do that. And then we're also using a hashtag this year. So if anybody is using social media, you like to tweet or Facebook or other things that I'm still learning about, feel free to share your pictures and comments using this hashtag, and that'll help us tell our story in a different way too. While we're at campus, what shall we pay attention to?
When you get there, this is what should happen. So someone, probably the lead educator, the lead chaperone, should do the check-in, one person. So go in, there'll be tables set up. So what you need to bring with you to check in, any forms that were not sent in ahead of time to campus, and then you will get your packet, you'll get shirts, and you'll get your keys. You'll be parking in North Campus parking lot, and when you're there, place to park, and if you don't have a vehicle with official plates, we can help you with permits, etc. And so there will be orientation that's going to happen on the youth, and we'll talk in the next slide. We'll talk more about your orientation, and then kids are once they get their keys and they have received the orientation from the focus assistants, they're going to go ahead and over to the dorms with luggage in hand and keys and go ahead and start finding their rooms. And I want to make sure that I invite Alexa to pipe up if there's something that I may have neglected to say. So welcoming activities. This is something new this year. The FAs thought it would be, when I say FA, of course I'm referring to Focus Assistant. They felt it would be helpful if there was an orientation for the youth, the participants. So, and once you get there and you come up to get registered, there will be an FA that will come out to your group and do a brief orientation with them. And your orientation is going to start at 1 o'clock. It's only half an hour. It's critical that you be there. It's going to be short, concise, and critical. So that's going to happen in the RPCC. There's also a lab safety workshop that's going to be happening at 1:30. I believe I'm correct, Alexa, 1:30 for the lab safety workshop?
Yes.
Okay. And so that is for all youth and adults that are going to be in tracks where you're going to be actually in a lab. And then after that, you are the kids. So orientated, you go to orientation, youth are headed over to the dorms, they're finding their rooms and all that, so that that needs to happen in a fairly short period of time, because we pretty much hit the ground running. So youth are then going to go to the quad area and meet up with their groups, whether it's a UU group or or one of the Focus for Teen groups. Okay, and then the open assembly program actually is not until after dinner that night. Okay. The dorms themselves, we're going to be in air-conditioned dorms, we're pretty sure. The floors are for both genders, but the rooms are not. There are lounges for the youth to get together, so they don't need to be gathering in each other's rooms. So the floors are co-ed, but rooms are not. If you get locked out, there is where you as a chaperone can call and have someone from maintenance or security come over and let them into their room. We do have, and I'll talk more about this later in terms of the rooms are for sleeping and changing, and there are curfews and lights out and that kind of thing. We want to make sure that youth do get their sleep. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. In terms of when Thursday morning, you need to do your checkout prior to heading to the programs Thursday morning. So that means luggage needs to be out of the room, need to be collected and accounted for. Rooms need to be checked to make sure that there's nothing left behind. I see keys here. When you do check in, please make sure that you match your keys to the rooms, and if there is any discrepancy, make sure that you go over with conference services that it's that you get the wrong keys or keys need to be swapped, et cetera, et cetera. Charged for keys that you never got. In terms of dining, there are specific schedules as there were last year. Last year was the first year that we did the split dining, and counties are assigned separate times, two time slots for group counties, and they're staggered so that there's not an abundance of youth in the hall at one time. Youth can get in and out of there quicker, and keep in mind that there are other groups that are there besides 4-H. Even though we're really important, there are other groups, sports groups, et cetera, that are going to need to use this dining hall as well. There are meal tickets in your packet, and they're passed out. You need to hang on to these. They're important. They can slip them right to your name tags. When youth go, they should be chaperoned. Send them there by themselves. You need to go with the group, the entire group. And the thing that we want to point out that for some youth, this may be a new experience eating in a college dining hall. It's not an all-you-can-eat food challenge. There are lots of options there. You don't have to have something for every single food center during the mealtime. And then on Wednesday, there will be a box lunch at Kennedy, and it is only going to be a sandwich and snack. You need to make sure that they have their water bottles that were given at check-in with them. There will be iced tea and lemonade, I believe, probably water as well. And so they have their water bottles with them so that they can fill them with the beverage. And lunch is following the closing ceremony. This is something new last year, and it worked fairly well. So they're going to be eating lunch a little bit later on Thursday. Activities, pretty much the same as years past. We want all youth to be participating in some type of activity. We don't want them just hanging out in their dorm rooms. So the options are going to be bowling, swimming. They need to bring their own towel. There's movies. The movies and the billiards and the quiet lounge are all going to be, as well as the dance, which is when only are going to be in the Robert Purcell Center. The Quiet Lounge is new this year, and that is an area, it's a room, per-cell room, per-cell lounge that's going to be available for youth that maybe don't want to be physically active at that particular time. They're content to just read or look at, play quiet game or something like that. So that is something that's new this year. And the dance is on Wednesday night, the final night there. And so looking at these activities, youth need to be prepared with appropriate way for these. So swimsuits, the dance, they're not supposed to be, it's supposed to be appropriately dressed. County photos this year, we are not having a professional photographer come, so you need to make arrangements ahead of time, a camera, someone's cell phone, and to do that. And county reflection meetings are going to be around dinner time, so when you're not eating, you can have your county meeting, and they can be in the dorms. This also allows youth to have the opportunity to change for their evening activity, maybe freshen up a little bit. Last year it was really hot and muggy before heading out to dinner. So they are going to be opposite their eating times. And then, as I mentioned earlier, sleep is important. It's an opportunity. This is not an all-nighter that we're having here at Career Explorations. Just want to point out, we've talked about this a little bit, but it's important to keep hydrated. Those water bottles are being provided for youth to use. There are filling stations in some of the buildings on campus. It's also important to get your rest. Curfews and lights out are in place to youth. An opportunity to get enough sleep. The times were changed last year to make sure that youth did have enough time. Breakfast was adjusted as well as lights out were adjusted last year. And then lastly, the other piece of your health and well-being is the emotional and social part. Be welcoming and respectful to all. And I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that it was contagious. Okay, so specifically for chaperones, speak to this a little bit, but your responsibility to the group, whether you're a volunteer chaperone or an educator. So you are responsible for the youth that are there, not only the youth in your own county, but the youth in other counties and the programs that you might be supervising as well. It's for all youth. As far as responsibility in the dorms, there will be chaperones that are assigned to quote-unquote dorm duty in the evenings. When you check in, please take note to the room. If there's something not working or whatever, make a note of that, and so that we're not charged for something that we were not responsible for. And then you, as chaperones, as a team, are responsible for your county reflection meeting. As a chaperone, you are responsible for, a support role for the whole event. And so this is encouraging youth, to participate. So these are throughout the entire event. Encourage them to participate in the event activities, both the UU activities, the focus events, the evening activities, and get them engaged and encourage them to be engaged. You as well. You should have, during the chaperone orientation, you will be introduced to myself and my colleague John Bowe, who are the chaperone coordinators/advisors for this event. There will be some pre-event emails that will go out to 4-H staff, as well as chaperones that are registered for the event. Working on this, here is the county orientation meeting video, something that we're trying out this year. And and then when you meet with your, if you are a volunteer and meeting with your force educator, you might have the opportunity to ask, what are some tips and what are some common challenges that chaperones face at statewide events. And there. First of all, thank you for tolerating me as I am doing our first first training here via an orientation video. And if you have questions, I'm glad to give you Alexa's contact information. Her email here on the slide, but certainly know that both are want to make sure, as well as John, that you have, and the entire conference planning team, have a positive experience. So please reach out with any questions, and you certainly will have the opportunity ahead of time, as well as during chaperone orientation. And I will have my contact information available if you have chaperone-related questions during the event itself. So you'll get those telephone numbers so that you can reach out to us at any time. All right, Alexa, what else? What have I forgotten, or what do you feel we should add?
Great job, Chris. You got it all, and I just wanted to say thank you too, and we look forward to meeting you all on campus.